right. Now, a lot has been said about the next panel that is about to take the stage. We are talking, of course, about AI, and I think it is timely that we talk about it. We can't go to a forum without talking about these two magical alphabets, AI. Are we a master of it, or are we a slave to AI? And our next panel is going to be bringing just that to the table, a critical and timely question that we hope to answer. Are we in control, or are we being controlled? So we challenge you during this session to rethink your relationship with technology, not just as a tool, but maybe as systems, how it may influence our decisions, how we organize events, how we design events, and even lead our teams. So without further ado, I will let him do the introduction of his panel, but please put your hands together to welcome this game-changing, all-female tech panel. Good luck to our moderator, Mr. Errol Lim, co-founder and COO of Jublia.com. Errol, take it away.
Mate. And why don't we get Jin for our panel as well? Come on, where's the fairness in that? Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our panel discussion, Tech and AI, Master and Slave, Manager and Staff. My name is Errol Lim, and I'm part of the organizing committee of the Singapore MICE Forum 2025. It's great to see so many familiar faces. It's great to see so many new faces. Welcome. I hope you're having a really, really good time. Now, I had the privilege of engaging with our panelists beforehand, and I'm super excited for you to hear what they have to say in a short while. Now, AI has become increasingly embedded in our lives. Doing our research, writing our emails, creating presentation decks for us, planning our holidays, telling us where to go, guilty as charged. But this forces us to think deeper. Are we in command of these systems? So people, this is not just a technological debate. It's a philosophical one. And it really challenges us to examine who is in control and what we're sacrificing. So before I get the panelists up on stage, I really want to find out who you guys are. I want to know a bit more about you. And this is for us to inform our discussion. So help me whip out your smartphones. Get into the QR codes. Let's have the QR codes for the polling up on screen, sponsored by Pigeonhole, and let's do a poll. Yeah. Okay, so the first question, if you guys could scan the QR code for the first poll, how often do you use AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Copilot? Daily, weekly, occasionally, never. And let's see the results as well. Okay, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we'll go to the second question. What concerns you most about the future of AI? Job displacement, loss of human decision-making, data privacy, ethical misuse? Nothing. I'm optimistic. And let's take a look at the results. Okay, this is fun. This is fun. We're going to talk about ethics later on, right? Okay. Fantastic. Yeah, very interesting results. Okay, so I love to introduce the panel up on stage right now. Now, joining us today are 3 roses amongst a single thorn, right? Myself. And beside them, I'm merely comic relief. So let's dive into the heart of the matter. When are the Terminators coming? So please put your hands together to welcome the panel, starting with Charmain Faith Tan, founder of Engages.ai. Round of applause, please. We also have Eugenie Lam, Director of Travel and Local Verticals Partnerships at Google APAC. And last but not least, Paige Shi, General Manager, Channel Sales Devices and Creativity at Microsoft Asia. Welcome.
They did it all.
Brilliant.
It's working. The mic is working.
The mic is
The mic,
working.
yes, they can hear it.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you for joining me, ladies. And let's start with a quick round of introductions so that we know who you are, what you do, and how do you use AI. We'll start with Paige.
Well, thank you. Very good afternoon to everybody. My name is Paige Shi. I'm from Microsoft, and I lead the Asia Channel Sales team at Microsoft. So what I do is really put the Microsoft consumer technology into the hands of the consumers in Asia. And what I really enjoy and what fuels me is the Microsoft products empowering people to do more. Whether it's them enjoying the PC for the first time in school or going to their first job interview, to maybe like you, Errol, who use it for gaming and having a second or third PC. I think that gives me a lot of joy with what I do in putting that consumer technology of Microsoft into the hands of the consumers. And it's a privilege to be here with such a star-studded panel.
Thank you. Well, if you want any Microsoft products, you know who to talk to. Eugenie, how about you?
Hi everyone, Eugenie here. I run the travel and local products at Google on the partnership side of things. And so we are the only team in Google that actually gets people off your computers and into the real world. So the products that we have include, booking a flight. So how many of you have used Google Flight Search?
Me.
Google Hotel Search. Did you also know that we can book attraction tickets, event tickets, and we're also extending into hair appointment bookings, as well as restaurant reservations, food delivery. Anything that is bookable, we try to make it available to you with the right pricing and the most accurate prices as well. And on a day-to-day basis, my goal is to help use AI to help users make better decisions for travel and for what you want to do this weekend or even tonight.
Fantastic. What else are you guys doing? You guys seem to be doing everything, right? And Charmain, how about you?
Hi everyone, I'm Charmain Faith Tan. So I actually run 3 businesses. I do a QD Academy. We believe a lot in AI learning AI, automation, as well as more importantly, building better relationships. Because I believe one thing is that in the AI world, relationship and trust become something even more important. And how I actually end up doing QD Academy was because I built 2 AI startups. One's an AI bot, and I'm also managing an agentic AI business. And I saw how fast AI is moving, and I think it's so important to learn how to embrace AI so that you will never become a dinosaur. Yeah.
Interesting. On the topic of relationships, I know a few people with relationships with an AI. Not going to mention names, but makes for an interesting relationship. Hopefully we'll talk about that later. Now, folks, again, this isn't just a technological discussion. This is going to be a philosophical one. And we are going to jump right into the first question now that we know each other. This is a question for all of you. Do we still fully control AI, or have we already ceded part of that control? Who wants to take this? Eugenie?
Sure. Well, I think AI is still learning and is still evolving. There are situations where AI starts to get to know you as a person and starts building on what they know of you and your habits and your previous questions as well. But I think we're still early stage, and AI also has the potential to make mistakes. It has the potential to hallucinate or even give you dangerous advice. And so I think it's important that AI is grounded in the right source of truth. And for that, we actually spend a lot of our time and our effort licensing real data from researchers, from Wikipedia, from encyclopedias, and from large institutions to make sure that we ground all our models on the right factual information. And so I think it's important as humans for us to also take it with a pinch of salt. No matter what AI recommends to you, you should always double check and also have your own independent opinion on AI such that it doesn't take over your life.
Yeah, that's so true. I think I've had a few experiences of AI hallucinating, giving me funny, funky recommendations. But let's hear from maybe Charmain. What do you think about that question? Do we still fully control AI? Have we already ceded part of that control?
I think at the end of the day, the power of whether to be controlled by AI lies in the hands of ourselves. So, because we do education, we do career conversion program, we help a lot of companies with AI transformation. One thing that, we get to hear a lot from like professionals is that, oh no, is my job going to be replaced by AI? And I think one of the thing is that that's only based on your mindset. If you think AI will replace you, it will. But the fact is AI can never do what we do, like building trust, building relationship, and more importantly, to know what is factual or not. Because like what I think Eugenie said, a lot of times when I first started building AI in early 2023, the hallucination was insane. It was making up different things about like, the facts. And then sometimes we were like, is this real facts? So I think it's so important that we do not forget that at the end of the day, we as humans will give the best source of truth.
Oh, 100%. I think we'll get on in the discussion about checks and balance. But let's hear from Paige first. Well, what do you think of this question?
Yeah, that's definitely a difficult question. But in Microsoft, we have our AI product called Copilot. So we don't believe that we have ceded control to the AI. And really, we remain in the driver's seat of how we use the technology. And I think it really comes through in the statistics that we see how people are adopting or they're hungry for AI. 70% of the Fortune 500 companies are adopting Copilot. And you see that Azure in the next quarter is going to cross $10 billion in revenue. It's the fastest revenue transformation we have seen in Microsoft. So we do see people are hungry for more AI. Organizations want more of AI. They can't get enough of AI. So I do think that we still hold a huge control in what we do. And in Microsoft, we call that Copilot.
Thank you, Paige. Now, this is a question for you since you talk about Copilot. This is a funny question, but when does Copilot become the pilot?
Oh dear, I've got my business partners here too, but how many of you take airplanes? Like when you go from destinations, you do, right? Do you know that actually 90% of the flight is on autopilot? And that pilots actually control primarily on the taking off and landing part. So we do believe a lot of the usage of AI is in a very similar fashion where you are in control. I think Eugenie talked about it very well, which is human ultimately starts the input and dictate on what that output is going to look like. So for us, never. Human is always going to be that core pilot.
Oh, thanks for that. Yeah. Let's ask Eugenie a question. Now, you're in Google Travel, and just last month, I actually used ChatGPT to plan an entire holiday for my family to Chiang Mai, right? 4 days, 3 nights. I didn't lift a finger. I followed everything to a T, and it was quite nice. So my question to you is, how do you think we should balance utility with influence, especially when AI shapes user decisions without us realizing?
Firstly, ChatGPT.
Pro chat.
Did you know that Google Travel can also give you recommendations on travel? But you can also try out trip planning with Google Search, AI overviews, and in future AI mode as well, and as well as Gemini. So we are experimenting across multiple different tools on how best to use AI. Should it be conversational? Should it be recommending you a full end-to-end itinerary? Or should it be suggesting, specifically based on your query, what is the best answer here? So for example, we've actually used AI in our products over many, many years. If you've used Google Flight Search, which I saw a lot of hands earlier, Google has those histograms that says, we think that it's the best time for you to book right now because prices are only going to go up. Or you should probably fly on a Tuesday because flights are cheaper in the middle of the week. And so these are all actually based on AI, looking at historical trends, looking at future data and availability, and being able to recommend you the best choices or help you drive the best decision making. So in these areas, I would say that we are providing utility to users, but helping you narrow your options to be able to make the best decisions based on your criteria as well. But I think it's also important that we don't just channel you to like, this is exactly what you must do, and this is exactly what you must follow. But I think for us, we try to present a balanced ecosystem, being able to represent all of our partners. You can fly on this airline or that airline. And if you chose this airline, you can book on the airline's website, or you can book on another OTA as well. And so at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the choice remains in the user's hands. And so depending on the type of query, we try to find the most relevant results for you, but leaving you to make the final decision as to the platform, as to the supplier that you'd like to work with.
I like that answer a lot. We're talking about giving choices, we're talking about relevancy, we're talking about personalization, basically. And with regards to utility and applying AI in the best possible way to serve our needs, right, this question's for you, Charmain. What's the best way to learn to make AI work for you?
That's a very good question. So actually, I think one of the very interesting things when we start teaching AI, we realize the most important is actually mindset, right? And what is the mindset on using AI? So I always treat AI as something that is constantly evolving. It's like a growing child. Every day it's different, right? And so I think we have to master the mindset that embracing AI means embracing change constantly. And therefore, how to make AI work for me, I think the question is, what is something that you need the most right now? And more importantly, being very mindful that AI is not everything. So my mindset to AI is that it's my personal assistant that I always wish I've had. And at my workplace, my AI is like my intern. So even when we build our AI bots, we always tell our staff when we manage and build a bot that AI is just an intern. We just need to know how to tell it the right question, send it the right direction, give it relevant guidelines, as specific as possible, and we will be able to make AI best use for us.
Okay, so, well, this is utility, and from the title of this session, Master or Slave, would it be the same answer in terms of how can we best master AI, right? Is there even a way to master AI?
I think the thing is mastering change, right?
Mastering change?
Yeah, because I think AI is constantly evolving, so you can never really completely master AI. And I think, because I'm not a tech person by nature, but I've been building tech. In fact, I used to have even debates with my CTO, like, hey, we can do this. And he was like, no, this is not possible. And we realized that one of the technology we use called LangGraph, it only became production ready last week. But we had a debate maybe like a day before the launch. And we realized that, hey, what he said was correct 2 days ago. What I say is correct as of today. So I think you can never master AI, but master change. And I think one thing that I've always taken and told my team is to have a day zero mindset. Because when you have a day zero mindset, you're always open to what's potentially new in terms of what you need for yourself based on the objective you have, and make AI work for you.
Interesting. Thanks a lot for that. I think we want to go a bit into the broader ethical side of the questioning. I think that's going to be really fun. And this is a question maybe for Paige, and the rest of you can jump in as well. With regards to kind of governance, right? So I know that various nations are forming an AI Safety Institute network to test and regulate AI models. So what is your own stance and the stance of the other panelists as well on responsible AI and governance?
Yeah, definitely. I think Microsoft has always had a very strong track record of responsible AI, and you can see that from our responsible framework. The way that we bring AI, the way that we train our AI is, you can check that out. It will be called the Responsible Framework of Microsoft. And we see that in our productivity apps, whether it's the M365 apps or the way that we've integrated that into Copilot. And also, we have launched a new class of devices called Copilot Plus PCs, where you have the native capability of demonstrating AI on that PC. That PC itself will have 40 TOPS on the MPU, which is 40 trillion operations per second. And what we really try to do there is to protect your personal data and not have that in the cloud. Because we do believe that ultimately AI is going to be a symphonic orchestra of native to cloud and having your data protected on your own device. And what I like to tell people is, you're going to fall in love with your PC again. And you know how you buy a car, and then it starts to depreciate the moment you buy the car? Computers used to be like that, but in the new world, it's going to be different. Your personal computer is going to be truly personal because it's going to start learning about you. So it's a very long answer to responsible AI because we do believe putting the human in the center and protecting your data, that's core to center to what Microsoft does here.
Very interesting. Any of you have any comments?
I think I'll fall back on my earlier response, which is I think AI needs to be grounded in the right source of truth. And there are 3 levels of grounding, I would say. There's grounding, there's training, and then there's fine-tuning. So at every level, every stage along the way, as AI develops and learns, we are always tweaking the results to make sure we try to get the answers as factually correct as possible. And to us, that's really, really core to what we try to deliver. But also in the world of Gen AI, which is generative AI, where you're creating videos, you're creating images, it also lends to the world of deep fakes. And it can become quite harmful, especially in situations like political discussions and all that. And so it is important for us to be able to identify what is real and what is fake. In the world of social media, in the world of politics, and even like online TV series as well can be completely generative AI. And so for this, I think one of the products that we've released recently is Synth ID, which is basically a watermark for anything that is Gen AI created. And so at least this way we are able to identify what is real or a real photo taken by somebody versus what is completely computer generated. But having said that, it does help with companies in media, companies like agencies and all that, where you may not have to pay such expensive model fees, where you can actually fall back on generated images as well for your marketing campaigns.
Yeah, 100%. Talking about deepfakes and like fake stuff online, my parents always send me fake news, and I'm like, this is not Obama speaking. No, this is not a real thing. Yeah. And I think this is a great segue into the next theme. When we talk a bit about the broader ethical, strategic discussions where AI is involved. And I'd like all of you to share with us maybe a personal story. Share with us a moment when AI made a mistake and you caught it. Right? I think it's going to be a fun one.
Okay, I got one. So I'm a true blue Singaporean, and to me, kopi is very important. And so that's an area where I think I'm an expert in. And so before I would believe any AI tool, my first question to the AI bot, so I tried this out with ChatGPT, I tried this out with Gemini in the early days, was how to order kopi in Singapore. And Gemini got it wrong. It was like, okay, kopi O is coffee with milk and sugar. I'm like, no, that's not correct. So I sat down and I rewrote the entire answer, but it wouldn't accept my answers. I rewrote it 3 times. And finally, I complained to my Gemini team, like, you guys need to get my kopi order correct before I will start helping you market this product or distributing it to any of our partners. So I'm pleased to say that it finally got it correct. But I think this is also an example of, you can't trust everything you see. You always have to double check the results to make sure that it is actually giving you the right recommendations or the right answers.
So you influence Gemini to influence us?
Yes.
Okay, good to know, Charmain.
Okay, so I love ChatGPT as my personal AI assistant. So I actually use it to do a lot of analysis of myself. So one day I was trying to ask ChatGPT, what does Charmain Faith Tan means? And then I asked my ChatGPT, what does my sister's name means? And then I said, tell me more about myself. But because I didn't disclaim that I am Charmain Faith Tan, ChatGPT started to tell me about my sister. And therefore I realized that it's not accurate. So I had to start a new chat altogether and disclaim that who I am. So I realized that in using AI for yourself, you need to disclaim. And whenever you're setting up a new information, you need to start a new chat altogether so that you are feeding it fresh information and it doesn't take reference from past information and mix them up.
No, that's an interesting one. I sometimes talk to ChatGPT as well, but maybe I should go back this evening and ask ChatGPT, what does Errol Lim mean? I'm not sure.
404 error.
No, I'm not sure I like the answer though. So,
joke.
Yeah.
So, well, I love the kopi story, by the way. I think it's very hard to top that. But I think there was a very well-known case of an AI in 2014 where Amazon trained the resume that they had, and there was then creating a existing bias because 10 years ago or 20 years ago, the resumes were primarily male-based, and a lot of the resumes like chess club or polo club, they were very heavily referencing male-dominated biasness, right? There is also what I call Western biases, and I think it's really interesting because recently, Singapore and in Southeast Asia, there was this new large language model that was created called the Sea Lion. I think that really accentuates that importance of having localized nuance, cultural nuance, to eventually have technology represents us and represents the future that we want it to be. So I think, Eugenie, your example was really beautiful. The Singlish context, the cultural nuances that we have, and even languages like Thai or even Vietnamese, having that become a language of the language model is something I hope that we continue to invest in the future.
Or even the dialects, right, of,
Yes.
Of different cultures as well. Now we're on the topic of, AI making mistakes. And I think this is something that's this next question is quite interesting, right? So who should be accountable when AI makes a mistake, right? The developers, the users, the platform. So to give you an example, if you're in a self-driving car and that car meets with an accident, right? Sorry, touch wood, but whose fault is it? What do you guys think?
I really like to reverse that because I don't like the negative outcome of it. But if in an AI situation, I think we use it in multiple scenarios. If it goes well, if you get a promotion today because of something that you've generated out of a Gen AI, I think we can all agree that the human is behind and it's absolutely credited for that promotion, the hard work, the thought leadership that comes with it. So for me, if we think about when things goes well, we credit that to the human, and to what Eugenie said constantly is the human ultimately is in control. So for me, philosophically, the human.
What do you think, Eugenie?
I think everyone is responsible, right? The platform, the developer are responsible for building the algorithm such that it's calibrated correctly, grounding it on the right data such that it's factual, or even having updated data in the situation of self-driving cars. You must make sure the maps are updated. You must make sure it takes into account live traffic situations and whether the sensors are working correctly. So everything plays a part in making sure an AI tool is calibrated correctly. But at the end of the day, the human still needs to be responsible for the decisions they make, how you use the AI tool or product, and what kind of results come out of it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. You want to comment?
Yeah, so I think for us, because Engages.ai is a AI bot builder, so we're actually quite agnostic towards the AI models we use. And in fact, we use AI to build AI. So because we realize we need more accuracy, so we use AI to use agentic AI to make it deterministic so that it gives more accurate answer. So, there are multiple AI models we use and we cannot be blaming one of them. So I think one of the most important thing I always share is that, like what Eugenie said, is shared responsibility. But more importantly, at any point in time, the question is, what's the particular use case that we are looking at? We need to be more specific, right? So let's say, example, if we do not disclaim to our customer that AI is not 100% accurate and we are using generative AI, then it's on us. If you are using AI solution yourself and you do not disclaim to your customer and they take it as it is, then it's on you. Right? So I think, and even for my developers, whenever they use like AI models, we need to say, okay, it's not 100% accurate, please disclaim it on our platform. That there's generative AI being used right here, it may not be 100% accurate. So and the fact of truth is that I'm a statistics major, there's nothing that's 100%, right? It's really all probabilistic, right? 95 percentile. So nothing is 100%. We just need to take shared responsibility and make sure that whenever we have a specific use case, objective of using AI, we make sure that the objective is covered with some disclaimers.
Okay, so shared responsibility, and more broadly speaking to what Paige said, humans, right? So if you're using an AI self-driving car, for instance, or a tool, just make sure it's updated. If it's updated to the latest version, and if you're like a few versions not updated, then it might get into some funky mess, right? Okay, so I want to hear more about your stories as well. So I would like the three of you to describe a time when AI seemed to guide your decisions more than you guided it.
Okay, so maybe I can share a recent example. So I like to do SWOT analysis. So I run different businesses. So I actually asked ChatGPT to do a SWOT analysis on myself, my business, my future, my businesses, and I will send it all my financial projections, and I say, please make an analysis of it. Yeah, so I really live by AI. I think the first question, daily, weekly, monthly, I think I use it hourly. So I think it doesn't guide my decisions, but it gives me very clear references and multiple data points. So I'm somebody that like to ask a lot of questions and think of different scenarios for a particular result and objective and goal. So when I ask ChatGPT 10 scenarios based on one objective, I could then collect the data points and say what works best for me. Yeah, so I think it's just, I use it as data points and references.
And with those, it guides you to then take action.
Yes.
Yes. To meet your goals,
yes,
right?
Yes, because like I will ask it like, okay, tell me what's the worst case scenario if I were to do this. Name me 10 of them. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, Paige?
Yeah, so one of my favorite use cases of Copilot plus PC is live captions. So what it's able to do is that it translates real-time conversations into English or into any language you want it to be. And that does it without any Wi-Fi or connectivity. So one of my favorite use cases is when I'm in a business meeting or in a Teams meeting, I have a lot of members who are non-native English-speaking members, like from Korea or from Japan. So they're able to speak in their native language, and AI gets to translate them natively. That means even if we're at a cafe, we're not worried about having to have connectivity. I can have them present their best ideas in their native language, and I think that helps to close a lot of that divide and really have a more inclusive dialogue and having the best ideas on the table. So that's my favorite use scenario of AI so far.
Thank you, Paige.
Yeah. No, I think we're talking about AI as if it was something brand new. I have to say that a lot of technologies have really evolved recently. So conversational AI, generative AI, but actually AI has been embedded in all our lives for many, many years. So let's say you switch on Netflix, you just finished watching a rom-com, Netflix will recommend 10 more rom-coms for you to watch. That is really AI, and I just blindly click on the next one and the next one. But I also want the ability to override, right? Oh, I'm in the mood for a crime thriller tonight. I actually want to get out of that recommendation loop and like select something else myself. And so that's the part where I reserve the right to override. But also other things like, Amazon, you select a product and it says like, you may also like. All of these are AI situations that, yeah, it just helps you with browsing. It's helping you with your daily use cases. You don't even think twice about it because it's already so embedded and so embraced in our day-to-day lives. Even just getting here today, I just blindly followed Google Maps directions because I've already assumed that Google Maps will take into account traffic conditions, if there's an accident or if there is heavy traffic, what is the best route to come here with. So in these cases, I would say that I pretty much blindly follow, but at the end of the day, I still sometimes like, maybe I'll take the scenic route today.
So it already guides our decision. No, I like the Netflix example because sometimes at home, when I switch on Netflix and I realize that there is a lot of horror recommendations, I'm like, who changed the horror recommendations? Like someone must be watching something horror. But okay, thank you for your responses. We're going into the next theme, talking about women leadership in tech, right? The three of you are women leaders in tech. And I wanted to ask, does AI offer a chance to reset legacy power structures, or does it risk reinforcing them?
I think both, actually. So the tough part is that depending on what AI is grounded in, it can still reinforce biases. And so even yesterday, I decided, okay, let me test this out. So I need to figure out how to answer Errol's question. I searched for generate me an image of a successful CEO. And it showed me the standard white male in a suit. I'm like, okay, make it a woman. It was still a white woman in a suit. I'm like, make it Asian. And now I finally see somebody who looks something like us, as part of Gen.ai. It took 3 queries. But I think this gives us an example of the fact that AI can still be biased and it can reinforce existing stereotypes unless you really guide it to give you diverse answers. But the other flip side of it is that AI can empower women and maybe even like the developing countries in other ways. It's giving people access to information that they never had before. It's giving access to information by the ability to speak in your native languages and learn for people who have never been, I guess, educated in the English language. And so even being able to, understand the dialects or the 700 dialects in India and empowering people in the villages access to information about agricultural practices, about flood forecasting, weather forecasting, so that they can actually protect themselves and their villages. I think this is really empowering, and that's also the positive side of having AI today.
Thank you, Eugenie. I think, yeah.
Sorry, so I think for me, I think one thing that AI has helped a lot is we can learn a lot faster. And I think one of the challenge, so when I first started tech business in 2014, there are so few females in tech because we can't code, right? But these days, you actually do not need coding. There's so many low code, no code. And in fact, you can use AI to develop softwares. So I think it balances out the tech field whereby now like yesterday I just met this lady who just built a whole wellness fitness app with AI, zero tech background. So I think it levels out the playing field to embrace AI and tech. You don't need to be like a coder to run a tech business now. So I think in terms of the ability to have more females in AI and tech, I think now there's a chance to, because all you need to know is what is the objective and mission that you want to achieve, and let AI work for you.
Great, and I want to ask Paige a question that's related as well to this topic. How can female leadership help shape a more equitable, empathetic AI future?
Yeah, I think I don't like the labels. I think during our conversation we talked about it before. It's the label of whether it's woman or gender or disability. The important part is every person should be represented in the models that we're building forward. So I think I like the word shared responsibility that the two ladies have coined, that we must have the right representation in the models, in the language models that we're training, and the frameworks that we are putting forward. So I won't just say it's female, I would just say having the right representation is the right way forward.
Okay, brilliant. We do have a bit of time. I want to see if there are any questions from the floor that we can ask. All right. Okay, how about this one from a good friend, Elle? Let's see, this one. Can we see that question? By Mr. L. Kwong. How can we preserve our critical and design thinking abilities as we weave AI into our daily work and decisions?
I can answer this because I ask ChatGPT a lot of questions in my life. and we teach that too, right? So I think one of the key things is, in fact, AI can boost your critical and design thinking abilities. Because how effective AI is for you, it depends on how good and specific your question is. There's this thing called like SMART goals, being very specific, being very realistic and actionable. So you cannot just take things as it is. If you want AI to really work for you, you need to think through, okay, AI give me this various answer, which would be the best suited for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think there are really two broad buckets of skills that we're talking about, whether it's a technical skill or a fluency skills. I think a lot of us are focused on, do you have the technical skills to it, but it's important for us to also get fluent in it, which I think prompt engineering gets really important. And to Charmain's point, I think it accentuates that critical thinking, that understanding the context, how do you peel the layers, how do you ask questions. So I think it really enhances our critical thinking. And for me, I use that daily in the way that I write my emails, the way that I am responding to my team. So for me, it has really accentuated and helped me a lot.
Yeah, I would like to actually highlight some of the challenges around the critical thinking aspect, right? I mean, we've seen from this year's pool of university graduates that there's been a lot of students that have been disqualified because they had plagiarized their thesis or the papers. We've seen also graduates being polled and realizing that the level of critical thinking has gone down in the recent batches of students. So I think it's really important that for students as well as for us, that we balance out the human in the loop with referencing AI blindly, to be able to say that, as Charmain said also, using AI to help you widen your baseline of data sets and widen your variety of choices, but having the human be able to then still think critically and identify what should be the right outcomes or right recommendations to come out of it. And I do hope that such a skill set of the human aspect of it does not fade in the AI generation coming.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think those were three great answers, and I think that the future is really going to place a higher emphasis on critical thinking as we adopt more and more AI. We're running short of time. I'm going to ask one more question from the audience, and then we'll close this panel. So this looks like an interesting question. Can artificial intelligence be a better manager than humans under circumstances? Why or why not? Can we flash that question? Yeah. Can artificial intelligence be a better manager than humans under circumstances? Why or why not?
I'll take this because I think managers, there is a potential that AI could be stronger. I think we see frontier firms, whether it's agentic AI, but I think it cannot be a better leader. There's a difference between managers and leaders, and I do believe that whether you are going into complex negotiations or managing teams, these are feelings, these are empathy, these are human touches. So I do believe AI can be a better manager, but it will not be a better leader than a human.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more well put than that.
Yeah, exactly.
And this really mirrors like our keynote speaker, Ho Kwon Ping's, puts it on leadership as well. So yeah. Now I'd like to just close with a final question, and this is a fun one. So top of your mind, if you had an AI anthem, what would it be? Who wants to go first?
You're going to surprise us.
I already mentioned mine earlier. I would say I reserve the right to override.
Oh, nice. Is that a song?
No. Oh, yours would be, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to change my mind.
What was that again, sorry?
I reserve the right to override.
I reserve the right to override. Wow,
I
okay.
think she just wrote her own song.
Yeah, it sounds like a rap.
I love that. I love that. Well, the song that I had is actually an existing song, which is This Is Me. No, I'm not going to sing it. If not, everyone's going to leave. This is me from The Greatest Showman, because I do believe AI amplifies you. It is still you. It is an extension of you. So this is me.
Yeah, and for me, my anthem would be what faith can do. And the reason is because I think in the past, when you want to build a business, you need to think through where can I find developers? How do I build my business plan deck? How do I do financial projections? But now not needed anymore. You can do your pitch deck in half an hour. You can do your marketing and your website in one day. You can even build your software in like 3 days. So as long as you have faith, anything is possible.
Fantastic. And
Very
for me,
nice.
it will be a whole new world. But yeah, so that's all the time we have today, folks. A big thank you to Paige, Eugenie, Charmain, for reminding us that AI may be smart, but it still needs us humans at the wheel. So thank you all for being part of this conversation. Now go forth and be masters of your machine before they do something without your consent. A big round of applause for the panel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Errol. Thank you, ladies. I'd like to invite you to step forward for a photo together. Never thought I'd hear Errol singing on this stage, but alas, we have navigating that all-female tech panel beautifully. And coincidentally, everyone dressed to the same colors of SMF 2025. For those of us that aren't taking photos, one more time for our amazing all-female panel. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for your time. And thank you, Errol, for navigating that so beautifully. Gotta make sure we get a good video